Lori Gray. I was born in 1966 in Detroit, Michigan, in the inner city. I had a mother and a father and three brothers. And I remember when we moved from a different part of town to a nice big house, and life was good. My parents worked hard to send us, the last three of us, to Catholic school. So I went to Catholic school, and that's where I learned about Jesus. And I learned about good and bad and right and wrong. My parents were not religious people at that time. They didn't go to church or talk about, except that abstract God thing. But they worked hard and they were good people. I got good grades in Catholic school and went to Detroit Public High School. And it was very easy for me. I got straight A's and skipped half my classes. So that was ridiculous. One fixture that was there was Planned Parenthood. So this is in 1980, starting 80. Planned Parenthood was in the schools. The clinics were in the communities. So I got straight A's. I was an athlete, played basketball. And I ended up getting pregnant when I was 16 years old. And I told my counselor, because I love my mother. But my mother, she was something else. And so I was concerned. And my father would go, I didn't want to disappoint them, And I did end up telling them. And my mother, they were disappointed, indeed. And I remember them making the decision that the right thing to do for me, the best thing for me, was for me to have an abortion. And in hindsight, I also remember the discussion how it was a big deal, but it wasn't a life. It was just a problem back then. It wasn't a life. But something was going on with me. So my mother took me to the man who delivered me. And I had a hospital, healthy, safe abortion. And mind you, Planned Parenthood taught us things, and my community, as most of you in this room know, 78% of all Planned Parenthood clinics are in the inner city and college campuses, which are all close to the inner city. And so everybody made peace with it. And so I was asleep, don't remember it, woke up. And I remember Dr. Rosenthal, he's dead, so I can say his name. I remember him asking my mother, okay, what are we going to do now to make sure this doesn't happen again? And my mother was so disappointed, but she said, you don't have to worry about that because she's not doing it anymore. I said, oh, I'm not doing it anymore. So when I was 17 and a half, I got pregnant. But this time, I did not tell my parents. I called Planned Parenthood because they were my friends. And I remember saying, I don't quite know what I should do. And these girls, don't worry about it. Come next Wednesday, bring $270. We'll take care of it. And so that's what I did. I hadn't had an exam. And I was an athlete. My stomach was flat. So I didn't know how far I was. I calculated years later that I was 18 weeks. There was no ultrasound back then. I mean, there was, but it was rare and back then. So we didn't know what the fetus looked like, and it wasn't a thought because it wasn't a life. I was trained. It wasn't a life. My mother was trained. It wasn't a life. And I knew I had suffered emotionally after the first abortion, but I didn't connect it. I didn't know what was wrong. And so I pushed it down. Here I am again on the table. I'm awake. And I don't think the doctor realized, because of my fitness, how far along I was. And I remember seeing his eyes like, oh, ooh. I don't know what procedure he used to kill my baby, but I knew he had to dismember the baby and take all the pieces out. And I felt all that pressure, and I felt every piece come out. And I couldn't comprehend what was happening. And I knew something was wrong. It was very violent. I remember you saw Abby Johnson's speech on when she spoke at the RNC. She said, do you know abortion has a smell? And it does. It smells like blood. And found out years later that procedure left me unable to have kids. And then when I was 26 years old, I didn't get pregnant. I got saved. I found the Lord. The Lord found me. No, I found him. He was always there. And it was a miraculous thing because the first work that the Holy Spirit did in me was to heal my heart and my spirit and my mind. And I grieved for a moment, and I heard the promise that I would see my babies again. But he also gave me a husband with 6 kids. I have 6 kids and 10 grandchildren, and they're gorgeous. I have pictures. Now what I do, I've testified in front of the state legislature several times for different pro-life bills. I went to testify a certain bill. It was kind of minor to me. And 300 people from Planned Parenthood showed up. I'm like, what are they doing here? Well, they want that money. This administration, and with this current Supreme Court Justice nominee, who we're all praying for, we know in time Roe v. Wade will be overturned, because abortion not only destroys the life of probably 1,200 babies today, disproportionately Black babies, but it also destroys the life and the heart of the mother.